Hello, everybody who's joining us. Thanks for being here today. See some familiar names on there. Hi, Adam, Jason, Scott. Awesome, awesome. Thanks for being here, guys. We have a couple minutes before we officially start. We have quite a few people joining today, so we'll give it a couple minutes before we dig into things. Looks like we have some people from all over the country today, which I love seeing. I know if you guys have been on a webinar with me before, that's one of my favorite things. Even today, well, I guess Patrick, you're a little more in the Midwest today than you
I
usually
am.
are. Mike's on the East
Yeah, don't
Coast.
tell anybody that
I
I am in
won't.
the Midwest. Okay.
Top secret.
Yes. Barely able to handle it.
Oh, it looks rough out there. It really
Mm.
does.
Yeah, I can see the beautiful trees in the background. It looks beautiful.
Yes. Yes. So great. Give it a couple more minutes before we get started in our conversation with SSI. For those of you not familiar with SSI, I'm super glad you're on the call today. They're a great partner with us here at TribalHub. They'll be at TribalNet. So if you guys are going to be at TribalNet, make sure you stop by their booth to continue the conversation from today out at TribalNet. If you were at any of our regionals, I think you guys were at every regional event, Mike, or maybe you missed one. Every?
I was on vacation, so yeah, but we already signed
Okay.
up for all seven for this year. So yeah,
Yeah.
we like to make each one of them for sure.
Yes. It's awesome. Great regional presence. So excited for you guys to be on the call today and start this conversation. So why don't we go ahead and I will kick things off. Again, welcome everybody for joining. My name's Michelle, part of the Tribal Hub team. If I haven't met you before, thank you for being here. Excited to have everybody here for today's roundtable discussion entitled Reimagining the Casino Guest Experience with All-in-One Guest Tablets. Joining us today, Mike Nardi from SSI and Patrick Tinklenberg, the IT director at Sycuan Casino Resort out in California. This will be a little bit different webinar today. It's not going to be a traditional presentation, but it'll be more of an interactive roundtable session where you guys will really be able to hear Sycuan's experience implementing the all-in-one guest tablet, how it's enhanced their guest experience, streamlined operations, reporting, all those kinds of things. So make sure that when you're listening, you use the chat or the Q&A to put in the any questions you might have. At the end of the roundtable, I'll go to the questions and make sure we answer anything that you guys would like to hear. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mike, to kick us off.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for hosting this webinar, and obviously thanks to Patrick for taking time to be on this with me. But so, like Michelle said, I'm with SSI POS. We laser focused on tribal casinos, and one of our customers is obviously Sycuan. And one of the things that we've been talking about with Patrick and their team was obviously really there's one area that, and this is pretty much consistent, traveling around the country when I go to different casinos, and I'm always walking the floor to see what the latest technologies are throughout the building. And the one area that has really remained constant and manual, quite honestly, the majority of casinos still is on the casino floor. So when they're ordering food or drinks, the servers are walking up to the patrons, whether it's a slot machine or at a table, and they're taking their order on a piece of paper, and then they're walking back. In some cases, it's as long as a football field to the nearest service bar. They're taking the order back to the service bar. They're then inputting that into the point of sale terminal, and then waiting for those drinks or the food to be prepared, and then obviously taking the food and drinks back to the customer. That's just with one customer. But as you all well know on this call, a lot of times, especially on a busy night when a server's going up to a slot bank with a host of players, they're taking the order, writing it down on a piece of paper, and then they're taking a customer's credit card. In California, for example, you're not able to comp the drinks, you're able to comp food, but you have to pay for your drink. So, and that's the case for most casinos around the country. There are some areas that you're able to offer free drinks, but so what happens is the server then takes a host of credit cards, which is really a security risk, and then he or she has to go back and write down and input all multiple orders with multiple credit cards, and then walk the drinks back out or the food back out. So what we've done with SSI is we have a tablet. It's an 8-inch all-in-one tablet, as you can see here on the screen. It's EMV ready, and the cool thing about this is with our tablet, it's the same as whether it's a terminal or it's our kiosk or even our mobile ordering off the phone. It's the same source code. So that's a really, really important feature to have because it helps us with, being able to streamline a lot of things and get development done quickly. Printing works, reporting works. So it's the same source code. It's not an add-on. It's not an acquisition. It's our software in all these different platforms. So with the terminal in mind, what we've done is given the capabilities to the server. So when the server now with SSI and on the casino floor at Sycuan, they're able to walk out to the whether it be a slot bank or the table games. They're able to take the orders, immediately send them back to the service bar. That can be routed, based on when times close, when service bars are open or closed. So it can be routed to specific areas immediately when the order is taken. The customer can then give the credit card to the server, and then they can put the credit card in the EMV right in the tablet. It's not two devices, it's one, and then give the credit card right back to the customer. So they're not worrying about where's my credit card or forget to get it. So again, we're streamlining, number one, the ability to take the order. You can do credit card, you can do tap on the tablet, you can do Apple Pay, Google Pay, you can charge to the room from the tablet. You can even take points for the food, comp points. We have a two-step verification so that you verify that it is, in fact, Patrick Tinklenberg and it's not Mike Nardi using Patrick's card. And then last but not least, it offers, and if you can see on the screen here, the server is taking the order from this gentleman, but what she's able to do at the end when the meal is complete is turn the tablet around and customer facing to the customer, he or she can put in the tip amount and then have signature capture. So again, you're not walking back to the terminal. You're getting everything done in one phase of the operation and not having multiple time lapses or whatever. So the server is able to take the drinks, take the orders, take the food, and then when they come to deliver the check, they can sign it and then they can email it or text it to the customer. So again, it's almost like having a point of sale terminal in your back pocket. It's really it's a game changer. And obviously they're new to the floor at Sycuan, so we're really excited to see the guests, the satisfaction from the guests, streamlining that and ultimately driving more revenue because you're going to keep the customers in the seat. I can tell you too. Just I remember walking the casino floor one night, and the gentleman was sitting at a slot machine. And it took so long for the server to come back with his drink. He got up off the slot machine and went over to the bar. So that's like a big taboo. You don't want to get them off the slot machine. You want to keep them there and keep them gambling. And this is what we can do with the tablet is to keep the customers in their seats and knowing that their credit card is back in their pocket and they're there happily gambling and having a good time. So that was really we think it's a game changer. And certainly Sycuan was very involved with us in really pushing the technology to be able to get the signature capture, to be able to get the points at the table, so they can they can use their comps for food and just giving that guest experience and streamlining the whole operation. So that's what we did. I don't know, Patrick, if you want to sort of talk about how the rollout went at Sycuan and what's currently going on, with the tablets and the usage at the casino.
Yeah. So, and I think maybe Mike undersells the concept that Sycuan was pushing them, because from day one, this was something we were pushing very hard to get. I think, most casinos, not most, a lot of casinos have mobile devices on the floor, and we certainly had them as well prior to bringing SSI on board. But what we didn't have was we didn't have it all in one device. And so you had to, you had a device that you could maybe place the order and maybe check the player card on, but you certainly weren't processing credit card information on it. You had a separate device for processing the credit card and then a separate printer. And so you had all of these little things hanging off people's belts, walking around the casino floor. It was such a pain, impossible to manage. A lot of the point and offer and comp redemption pieces that we have now were not available. And so we really wanted to make sure that we had a system that we could give to our servers that would make the process seamless and easy for the servers and the guests on the casino floor. And so we worked very closely with SSI. We gave them multiple iterations of requirements, and they did a very good job of managing every time we came back to them with, oh, well, this is great, but it also needs to do this, or it needs to operate in this way, or yeah, we have all of these steps, but they need, you need to have them go in a different order. Um, and so I think that, you know, I'm sure Mike would shake his head if I start talking about all of the different tiny little things that we ask for every time we go through a development uh, cycle with them. It's nonstop, and he probably didn't stress the fact that the one code base thing, we have all of the things that we do on our point of sale terminals, the main point of sale terminals, in terms of being able to process transactions from multiple revenue centers in certain orders. It's got to apply comps and points and offers and discounts and tax and tip, all in different sequences, depending upon who's doing it and when and what venue, and then service charges on top of that. It's nonstop, and we're always asking for new little things, and then it's got to be able to reconcile all of that on the back end. So when you do end of day reporting and end of month reporting, all of the stuff, all of those charges go in the exact right buckets when you do the reporting. And so we spent a lot of time working through that, getting it right on the main point of sale terminals. Well, now that it's working there, when we roll out the tablets, it's all working there too. And so that made a huge, huge, huge difference for us. Our servers have to walk around. They spend a lot of time going all over the casino floor. We're fortunate that we have a number of service bars, but one of our servers could be within range of 3 different service bars, and so they can pick which one's closest to them and which one's closest to the guest, and make sure that they're getting the drink to the guest as quickly as possible. So it's been a very good rollout. Our servers are very happy with it. It's made things much, much easier for them. We talk a little bit about, and we've only had it, Mike, 2.5 months or so.
Yep.
I think is when we rolled it out right before summer. And so we're still kind of looking at where we're getting benefit in terms of increased revenue and things like that. But I guarantee that it has reduced turnover for our servers. The interaction with the guest is much easier. It's making their job much easier. They're not spending time going back and forth with unhappy guests at the end of the day. When you pair it with a beverage dispatch system on the slot floor, and now you really are getting to those guests immediately. And so we can get information out to them, or we can get the drinks out to them. We can get the order right away. And they basically never have to move. They aren't looking around for servers or getting up or trying to find somebody. They're sitting there, placing the order, getting the server out there, and they're happy and they're playing. And so from that standpoint, it's been a very, very good rollout for us, and we're excited to do more of it. I think we hit the casino floor first. You can see on this picture now we're starting to do it in our steakhouse. There are other areas of the casino we want to continue to roll this type of device out, so that we're really spending a lot of time interacting with our guests wherever they are on the floor and not making them come to us.
A point to add too, which I found out from Lori at Sycuan, is that your tailor shop is developing a custom apron for the tablet, right? So I know, which I think is great. In fact, I told Lori, I mean, we'd be happy to, because a lot of our other customers are going to want those aprons. You guys may have a side job, a side hustle at Sycuan, and we'll sell them for you guys. But I think it's a great idea because it frees up, number one. The tablets are small, certainly, and they only weigh, I think, 1.33 pounds, but they have a little mid on the back. But what it does is you still have to carry your drinks with a tray.
Yeah.
So with the apron, you could put the tablet in the apron. It's close to the person's body, so it's not, bouncing around. And then they have both hands to be able to utilize for the drinks and carrying the drinks and food. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's been a huge help, and I think that was something that we really needed, especially in that kind of venue, a little bit higher class, where the interaction with the guest is really paramount, and being able to put those point of sale terminals away be able to walk around, interact with guests, carry drinks and food and appetizers and things out to the tables, I think has been really big and a big part of why we decided we could roll those out in that space.
Yeah. Talk about too. I was talking with one of the I think it was a beverage manager, one of the casinos, and about the credit card issue. And she was telling me that at one point they did lose, some credit cards where they were misplaced. So again, that becomes a real liability for the casino, where the customer loses a credit card and my goodness, all kinds of bad things could happen there. So again, just that comfort and ease of knowing that my credit card's back in my wallet and it's not coming back to me in a half hour. I don't know what happened to that thing. They could have called in an order for a TV at Best Buy. So again, I think that's a big differentiator as well as is seamless to the guest and ease of mind.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of us have spent a lot of time and a lot of money um, uh, becoming PCI compliant, right? And the second that card leaves the guest hands, now you've got an issue with PCI compliance.
Yeah.
And so, you can go through and spend a bunch of money getting an audit done, having a QSA provide an attestation of compliance, that you are PCI compliant, and then your processes completely ruin what you just spent all of that time and effort doing.
Yep.
Being able to do all of it in one transaction, the card never leaves the guest's hand. That's a big deal, and certainly adds a layer of security that I think we all want to have, especially now. We're all very concerned about cybersecurity, our casino security, and certainly our guest security as well. So
Yeah.
that's a big part of that too.
You know what else too, Patrick? I'll be really excited to see from the server standpoint. Um, Once you get more time under usage, is the tip. I'd love to see the tip uh, results. Because as you all know, like with the tip, you literally turn the tablet around and put it right in front of the guest and say, okay, here you can, and it's configurable. You can put 10, 15, 20%. So you're really looking them in the eye and saying, okay, what are you going to give me for my tip? So it really forces the guests to say, you know what, that was great service, and I'm going to give you a 20% tip on those drinks. And hopefully it's going to increase the servers where they're going to make more money as well on the floor, because I think it's a great, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other piece of that, right, is it's not just, yes, we've got the tip piece and hopefully the servers are getting more, but then it's the integration with our cash tracking application as well, and having all of that done. So it's not just giving the servers more opportunity to get tips. It's also easier for them and for the casino to track the tips. And so we're reporting on it correctly. We're making sure that everyone gets what they're supposed to at the end of
Right.
the day and in a timely way. And that's been a big part of it as well. We're really excited about that piece.
Good. Good. No, I don't know if Michelle, if there's any questions from the guests. I don't know if they
Yep.
have any questions or.
I see something in the
Yep.
chat.
Yep, in the chat it says from Michael, what casino management system and if any promotion systems do you have? How much customization was needed to connect and create integrations to work?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, Patrick, do you want to answer that?
Oh no, you want to jump in first? I'll
I could tell you, well, to answer your question, and that's really the differentiator with the one source code, because really we didn't have to develop the integration. For example, with Patrick and Sycuan, it's Aristocrat. So the same integration that they use at the terminal is the same integration for the tablet, is the same for the kiosk, and even they're using some mobile on the phone as well. So yeah, that's a major thing. So we have every casino integration we have complete and in production with casinos around the country. They're able to plug and play, if you use that terminology, really on the tablet. I don't know, Patrick, if I didn't say that correctly from a
No,
technology
that's
standpoint.
exactly right. We're Aristocrat on the casino management system, although we built our own promotion platform. So all of we use Atrient for loyalty kiosks, and there are some promotions that run on there. But in terms of offers, that all is built in-house. And actually, the team at SSI built to our API spec as a one-off. just so they could access food and beverage offers and discounts based on the different tier levels and point redemption rates that we have custom built as well. So our guests earn at the same rate but redeem based on their tier. And that was a new capability. It's not built into Aristocrat. It was something that we developed separately as well. And so they built the interface to all of those pieces as part of the implementation for us. So that's how they did that. What's this
Right,
next
looks
one?
like, yeah, another one from Scott. What beverage percent sales increase have you seen on the casino floor used in the handhelds, specifically a slot and table game area?
Honestly, I'd love to be able to answer that. I don't know that I have seen a specific percent sales increase. We're just getting kind of back to looking at that. Like I said, it's been about 2 months. And so we'll get back through, and our FP&A team should have those audited numbers pretty soon. And we'll see. I'm not sure. I'd love to say that it's been a significant increase. I would say it's probably still pretty close to what we were doing before, maybe a little bit more. But the difference is that we're getting there quicker, and so we're not losing those sales, and we're not losing our guests who get up and go and buy something someplace else. I think is probably more likely the scenario, but it wouldn't surprise me if we started to see some increase on the slot and table games areas.
Patrick, from an IT standpoint, how did your team approach like the deployment and the staff training for these?
Yeah, so that was great, and as a matter of fact, one of the really amazing parts of the deployment of the system was the fact that SSI sent so many people out to help with it. They did just an incredible job supporting the implementation and making sure that not just our IT team was trained, but the F&B teams were all trained across multiple shifts. It wasn't just day shift, it was day, swing, and grave. Making sure that all of those folks knew how to use the devices, that they were configured correctly. They do an incredible job of configuring things and then shipping them to us. So most of the time, it's very little that we have to do on our end to make sure that those devices are ready to hit the floor as soon as we receive them, which is absolutely spectacular. Having everything ready to go so that when we receive it, it can go right out on the floor. With maybe a few minor tweaks to either IP addresses or connections to credit card processing gateways and things like that. They're pretty much ready to go. So that part's really, really great. And on my team, we do a great job partnering on support. SSI does a lot of direct support to the devices. So our team will sometimes take a first crack at it, but a lot of times we'll just hand it right off to SSI, and they will jump in and address whatever issue we're having on, whether it's the point of sale standard point of sale terminal or one of these mobile devices. Getting those issues addressed, resolved, and getting people productive again on the casino floor is something that they do exceptionally well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If there, obviously there's a lot of other casinos on the call today, perhaps considering this type of solution, what advice would you give them just before they started? Like, what kind of things did you have to go through before you made the decision to move in this direction?
Yeah, it's a long process. Don't ever think that you can make a point of sale change on a whim, because it's not easy. You need to spend some time looking at, what do you have in place. One of the things that I think our team didn't appreciate necessarily was a system that we had before we brought in SSI. We'd been doing custom development on it for about 10 years before we brought in SSI. And so there was a lot of custom, little custom tweaks and scripts and codes and features and things that we'd built around the platform to make up for things that didn't exist within the system that we were using. And so I think we underappreciated how much custom stuff we'd done and how many processes we built around that. And so getting all of that done, getting all of it documented, And then, like I say, every time you're running a project, make sure you've got buy-in. Make sure
Mhm.
that the F&B team, the finance team, the cash ops teams, everyone who's going to be touching this understands what it is you're going to be doing, why you're doing it. They believe in it. I think once they see a good solution, um, uh, they'll be on board with helping make sure that it's successful. And I think, for us, there was certainly the beginning was rocky, but I think as people started to see that things were getting fixed and things were getting addressed, and that we were developing, I say we, but really SSI was developing new features and rolling them out regularly. Like, we were having meetings every week and something new was coming out almost every time we were having a meeting. And as they saw that happening, they started to realize that this was a great platform and really was something that they could grow with and was going to meet their needs long term. So, make sure you've really identified what you've got in your environment, and make sure that you've got a team that's going to help you make it successful.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very important. Is there anything you would have done differently looking back at like the implementation piece of this?
I think I would have spent more time making sure everybody understood how we got to where we were with the system we were running. I think that was probably one of the biggest hurdles. Everybody thought that where we were, we'd been in exactly that point the whole time. Like the
Hmm.
system that we bought was built with all of those features and capabilities, and that when we turned on this new system, absolutely everything that we had was going to be right where it was before. And we needed to do some education and say, listen, first of all, some of those processes weren't good processes, and so
Hmm.
things do need to change. And
Hmm.
and then it's going to take some time to rebuild 10 years worth of custom work. And so that groundwork probably could have been laid out a little bit better. But like I said, once they started to see that things were getting addressed, and things were getting, like, every week, every month, things were getting better, and they were seeing the benefits. I think what we're 2+ years in now,
Mhm.
and I think everybody's like, they're really all excited about where we are and where we're going. Especially, and I know, I think we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but some of the mobile stuff that we're doing, the kiosks we've rolled out, some of that stuff have been absolutely incredible, and our team absolutely loves it.
Nice. Those are all the questions I have for right now.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah, and real quick, Mike, and I don't want to steal your thunder if you wanted to jump in on anything here, but one thing that we were able to do, and I know I've talked to a few folks about this. As a matter of fact, I was just out visiting somebody out here in Minnesota, who, we talked about the idea of unattended kiosks for ordering, and the fact that we've put them into our team dining area so we can cover 3 shifts of having our team dining room open and making sure people can order and get hot food on any shift that they're on. And we couldn't keep cashiers on those shifts. And the only way we were able to do that was to roll out some kiosks um, in those areas so people can walk up as they come in, they place their order, they pay if they're going to pay for it. And then we've got cooks in the back who are making made to order food 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's great. It's a huge benefit for our team, and they absolutely love it. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without having those kiosks in place in there, and having, all of the features and capabilities that we've got on there.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point too on the kiosks, Patrick. And one of the cool things too that we're able to do, again, going back to the one source code, but the with the kiosk capabilities, you're even also able to keep the guests in their seat, because they could come over, place an order, and say, you know what, I want to have take a sandwich or a coffee for the ride home, or go back to the slot machine and tell them when they want it to be ready. And then they'll get a text alert to their phone saying, hey, your food or drinks are ready, come get them, and then go off. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we're doing and developing. And I think, another major differentiator with us is that 100% of our employees have a W-2. What that means to you, the customer, is that development and all of 100% support is in the United States. So we're able to turn things around much quicker, and be, from a standpoint of, you're not dealing with, time differences and folks language barriers. So again, we found that to be a huge arrow in our quiver, so to speak, is the U.S. based support and development. Everybody's in the U.S., so that's a big thing. But one last thing too, you're right, you brought it up, and I'd love to talk to you about it because I know you're doing a little bit mobile at the pool, but to the folks listening as well, we're starting to see a real big uptick with a lot of our customers now utilizing the phone and putting the ability for the guests to order their food and drinks right from their phone and having the same capabilities where they can charge it to the room. They can, with verification, they're able to, use their points off their phone if allowed, not on the casino floor, obviously for drinks. But so again, the mobile phone, we really see this as a game changer. Even to the point of, I think it's going to be great for room service, where you can order from multiple revenue centers. The days of having a big staff of the call center for room services is a dinosaur now. So now, as a guest, you can go up in the room, and maybe I want steak, and Patrick or Michelle wants Italian and pizza. So everybody can have a different thing. Well, you can order that multiple revenues right off of the phone, and then have it delivered. So with a text alert, knowing when the food's on its way. Kind of cool stuff. So mobile, I think, is going to be on the phone is going to be our big push in 27, along with the tablet. But I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Patrick, too, with regards to mobile at the pool.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to, for us, in San Diego, and I think probably everyone here thinks pool season is 12 months a year, but it's not really. We do get bad weather. It gets, San Diego gets down into the low 60s sometimes. It's terrible. But when we're in the middle of pool season, we're having events and things happening out at the pool, and it gets really slammed out there. We have one small little restaurant out at the pool, and for a long time that was the only place you could order drinks and food. And no matter how many servers we hired for that pool area, if we have every cabana full, that's almost 60, that's a little over 60 cabanas, plus all the day beds, plus all the chairs. And we got people everywhere out on that pool deck. And then on a concert night, it's even worse because we put concerts right out there on the pool deck. And so there's just no way for the servers to keep up. And there's absolutely no way for that little tiny restaurant or cafe that's out there to keep up with all of that. And so our big plan was put QR codes in all of the on the day beds and in all of the cabanas. Let people order when they want to order, and let them order from different venues. Don't make everything go through one place. Let them order from our Viewpoint Cafe. Let them order from our Mexican restaurant. Let them order from the deli cafe and the pizza place, and all of these different places that are open during the day that have capacity. And can take the order, fulfill it, and then we have people who can run and get the food and bring it out. It's much easier and much faster for our guests to do it that way. And so we were really excited to roll that out across the pool deck and give people the opportunity to place those orders out there. We had a lot of requirements for that too. We added a lot of interesting little things in there in terms of who can order what, from where, when, the kind of the nuances of how tribal members paid for things and other stuff like that was a lot to ask. And our F&B team kept asking and asking and asking, and the SSI team kept building out, everything that we asked for. So it was pretty amazing. And now, and I know a lot of folks who have hotels. You don't keep a staff on hand that's taking calls and entering room service orders, and then a single kitchen that's managing room service orders. You have to distribute that out. And so being able to have the same kind of mobile platform in our hotel rooms, which is kind of the next step for us to be able to hit whatever venue or venues happen to be open at that time, day or night. The order goes directly there, and then we can have folks who can run that up to the hotel rooms. Without having to have a dedicated staff or a dedicated kitchen just for room service, because that's just not sustainable anymore.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Michelle, I don't know if there's any other questions, but that's pretty much what we wanted to discuss today. So,
Okay, I don't see any other questions in the chat, but this is the time. If anybody has one last question they wanted to ask, here it is. But I do have a closing question for both of you guys, for you, Mike and Patrick, and that is, if attendees for the webinar today took away just one thing from your conversation, that you'd like them to bring back to their team, what would that be?
I think for us is obviously we're new to the casino business. We're not new to point of sale. We've been doing that for many, many years. But I think that we're a viable option. If you are, hopefully you're happy with your POS. But if you're frustrated you feel like you've been taken for granted, or they're just not paying attention to you, we will pay attention, and we're hungry and hungry to earn your business and attentive to be a good vendor partner with you. So, we're going to be a TribalNet. We'd love to have you stop by, or you can reach me via email at michael.nardi, Nardi, at ssipos.com.
Yeah, honestly, similar sentiments. I think the thing that a lot of people assume is that there's limited options in the point of sale space, and I think people need to understand that there are opportunities, and if you find the right partner, somebody who's going to work with you, it's absolutely worth considering implementing a system that makes your team happy, that when you ask for something, you think it's going to actually get done. Those kinds of things are important, and so take the time to look around. Don't think that you're stuck. And point of sale is one of those areas. I think people underestimate the amount of innovation that can happen there and the amount of impact it can have on your team and your guests. Don't underestimate that. It should be an area where you can make an impact, and you should be looking at that all the time. And your team should want to do something like that. Find the right partner that can help you there. You are on mute.
Thank you. So much has changed in this space, right? Over the past 10 years, even 5 years. So it's really great to have this conversation, to open up about it. Patrick, thanks for coming on. Mike, appreciate you guys always. And definitely you guys make sure, if you are going to TribalNet, make sure you stop by SSI's booth. If you would like to share this conversation with anybody else on your team who maybe couldn't make it today, check your email tomorrow. You'll receive a link that will take you to our YouTube page, which you'll be able to view this recording forever. So with that, if there are no other questions,
Yay.
Mike, thank you so much. Patrick, thank you so much. I
Thank you
appreciate
both.
you guys, and
Thank you,
I'm glad we
Michelle.
could have
Thank
this.
you, Patrick.
Thanks everybody for
Yeah.
joining. Take care.
Yep. Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
everybody.
Okay.
Bye. Have a
Bye-bye.
good day.